The winner of this game gets Florida. The Gators won a topsy-turvy game with 4 lead changes, a couple of home runs apiece. They tie with Auburn the largest scoring game in SEC tournament history. 19 runs, and Florida fights back for a 10-9 win. They get the winner of this game tomorrow in the first semi at 5 Eastern, 4 Central. Texas, Ole Miss, Oklahoma, Georgia still to come. But what a game we have for you here. Kevin Brown and Amanda Scarborough. The last 5 years, there have been 3 matchups in conference tournaments of top 5 RPI teams. Those were all in the semi or the final. We are spoiled to be getting this in a quarterfinal.
Yeah, I mean, Arkansas is a 7 seed. How did that happen? Well, they played a ridiculously hard SEC schedule, as no SEC schedules are made exactly the same. But both of these teams are high in the RPI for a reason. They played a really hard strength of schedule, and they've won a lot of games. Over 40 wins for Arkansas, over 40 wins for Alabama, who is now approaching 50 wins. Both of these teams are so similar, can hit, can pitch, play great defense. They're very similar in all their stats, top to bottom.
Yeah, how high can they get? Can these teams maybe push for a #1 overall seed if they win the SEC tournament? Certainly within the realm of possibility this week here in Lexington. The Arkansas Razorbacks have played already. They beat Mississippi State 3-0 yesterday. Shut them out and got big swings from Tiana Bell, the transfer from Cal, and Kaylee Wyckoff in her 2nd year after transferring over from Texas Tech. Razorbacks 11th in the country into the week at nearly 8 runs per game. And Courtney Deifel's team is going to face maybe the SEC Pitcher of the Year. Awards are released tomorrow, but it wouldn't be a surprise, Amanda, if Jocelyn Brisky, the junior, took that hardware home.
Would not be surprising at all. In fact, I think it's expected with the way that she has not only pitched this year with just under a 1.5 ERA, but the way that she pitched in SEC play to make Alabama towards the top of the standings.
Robin Herron starts for Arkansas, Brisky for Alabama. It's an outstanding pitching matchup, maybe the best we'll see all week here at the SEC tournament. And Brisky, the junior, starts it with a strike to Reagan Johnson. Johnson, Brindley Bain, and Ella McDowell to the top 3 for Arkansas. And the Razorbacks all-time hits leader Johnson is in an 0-2 hole. Johnson, a 3-time All-SEC player, not likely to repeat. That is a little bit of a down year, though still hitting .321.
Ball.
You mentioned the ridiculous schedule Arkansas played. They played all 4 of the top 4 seeds in the regular season. Still went 6-2 in SEC series. One of their 2 losses was to Alabama. Here's a 1-2.
Ball.
Inside. Chris Neighbors has the plate in his 2nd game of the day. Megan Rabin at first, and Anthony Small is the 3rd base umpire. One-two for Johnson.
Ball.
See Marley Giles working hard back behind the plate to get a couple of these pitches called strikes, communicating with the dugout as Reagan Johnson worked it to a full count.
Johnson was 0 for 6, 5 Ks against Brisky during the year. And she strikes out for a 6th time in 7 at-bats against her here.
Jocelyn Brisky has really just stuck to 3 pitches this year. Her rise, drop, and changeup. Being able to split the zone vertically, get hitters to chase up out of the zone, down out of the zone with both her drop and her changeup. She's throwing with great velocity this season, already hitting 70 miles an hour in this game. 68 to 70 is the hardest she will throw. And dropping the changeup at 58.
In for a first pitch strike to the freshman Brindley Bain. The series versus Arkansas this year was ridiculous. 14 innings, 2 runs, 24 strikeouts, and only 2 walks. She's going to throw strikes. That we can guarantee. Brisky has the 2nd best strikeout to walk ratio in all of Division I, and 2 of her 3 10K games this year against this outstanding Arkansas team. Bain elevates with her and fouls away an 0-2 rise.
It's just been fun to watch Jocelyn Brisky throw strikes and command her pitches. In the previous 2 years, you saw moments where you saw what Jocelyn Brisky was capable of, with swing and miss stuff down, swing and miss stuff up, and being able to change speeds. You saw glimpses of it, but not consistently.
Ball.
And this year, just putting all the pieces together. Coach Murphy said she made a decision in the summer. Drop ball, remember, was a pitch that she learned her freshman year, and that drop ball has gotten better every year that she's been at Alabama.
Ball.
That's a drop ball at 71. It's a little bit low. 2-2 for Brinley Bain. Alabama took 2 of 3 in the season series. The wins were the games pitched by Brisky. The middle was an Arkansas slugfest.
Ball.
Bain takes the changeup. It was either a great take or it froze her. You be the judge, and it's 3-2.
2 full counts to start off this inning.
Pitcher who doesn't walk anybody. And Bain will foul this 3-2 away.
It's just incredible. 17 walks in 130 innings pitched compared to her 167 strikeouts. Opponents hitting just 181 off of Brisky this year.
So your head coach, Patrick Murphy, in his 28th year, national champion at Alabama. Fouled away again, right near Patrick Murphy. He's sizzling into the Alabama dugout. So some hard contact here by Bain, and Murph flips the ball over to Marley Giles.
The difference in this at bat is that changeup. As we take a look at Patrick Murphy, 5-time SEC Coach of the Year. Maybe going to get another one of those awards when the conference awards come out this year.
Here's the 9th pitch to Bain. Fouled away again.
You see that Bain is on time with the hard stuff from Jocelyn Brisky, and the difference is that her changeup has not been a pitch that Bain has gone for or a called strike. So wouldn't be surprised to see Jocelyn Brisky throw a full count changeup here and see if she can get Bain out.
You got to throw it in the zone if you're throwing that changeup?
I would throw it in the zone.
She throws it out. So the nation's second best pitcher in strikeout to walk ratio walks the second batter after striking out the first. And that is a table setting at bat, maybe a tone setter it feels like for Bain. A 10-pitch walk, and the Arkansas dugout loves it as Ella McDowell stands in. A freshman All-American a year ago rips the first one foul.
Arkansas is just on time with everything hard right now from Brisky, it seems. She got Reagan Johnson out with the strikeout, but then Brinley, as you mentioned, set the tone for, all right, we're going to get on time with 69-70. That's why that changeup, not in the later innings, in this inning is going to be so important for Brisky to figure out.
McDowell 0 for 3 on Wednesday. Pounds the ball out of play here. A couple of ground outs yesterday. So much balance for this Arkansas team. McDowell with 11 home runs, 3rd most on the team. Razorbacks have 7 players in the starting lineup slugging .550 or better. All 9 of their starters are .300 hitters or better. McDowell in the air to right field off a changeup, and that's caught by Anna Roman for the second out.
Good adjustment by Brisky on that pitch, just to stick with it, be able to raise that pitch up in the zone. Almost too sweet, but McDowell had a piece of it, and just an easy out for the right fielder.
19 pitches in the first inning. Deanna Bell homered yesterday. Bell on the hard stuff, right back to the circle. So an uncharacteristic walk, but a characteristic 0 for Brisky. We'll see Robin Heron to the circle next. The Alabama Crimson Tide, a brilliant regular season. 47-6. They make a change today. Jenna Young hits leadoff for the first time all season. She and Brooke Wells are the 2 transfers to this team who have uplifted the Crimson Tide. Brilliant offensive year, but struggling down the stretch. So they shift things around with Young, and on the first pitch of the game for Bama, Young will reach base on a drop pop-up. The shortstop, Italia Rijo, normally so sure-handed, has just committed her second error in as many days.
It's blowing just a little bit, but you could tell that she was drifting, backpedaling, didn't quite look sure of herself. Like you could just see it on her face, maybe waiting for Wyckoff to be behind her or Johnson. Just not well played by Rio to start this inning.
Her 9th error of the year, and Robin Herron immediately into a pickle as she throws a strike to Brooke Wells. Herron, the senior, usually loves pitching to contact with an elite defensive team around her. But she'll have to work out of a runner in scoring position jam immediately as Wells fouls away strike 2.
We have a couple of strikeout pitchers in this game. Robin Herron has a strikeout per 7 rate because of her changeup. Mostly a senior, she is the ace on this staff coming from the left-hand side. Arkansas, though, is deep with their pitching staff.
Well,
Brooke Wells has been the big bat in the Bama lineup this year. 413, 533 on base, and slugging a cool 937. Team high in all 3 slash lines. Wells floats this one over to first base, and Tiana Bell retires her. So Herron gets an out. It's not a productive out for the tie.
Robin Herron's going to throw in the upper 60s. Her go-to pitches are going to be her rise ball and curveball. She wants you to chase her changeup. That's her best strikeout pitch. And she is almost unhittable with 2 strikes. She has one of the best 2 strikes batting average against of all pitchers in the country.
She's got a 2 strikeout on Wells. And a hard swing and a miss by the designated player today, Alexis Papillo.
There are only 5 pitchers who have a lower batting average with 2 strikes against them in the country. All 4 are in the SEC. 3 of them are on Tennessee's pitching staff, the other on Alabama's staff.
well,
And that'd be Vic Moten, the freshman.
Talking to Courtney Deifel this week, she says for whatever reason, Robin Herron has just been flying under the radar all 4 years of her decorated Arkansas career. Strike into Papillo, who was the Tide's leadoff hitter for the last 17 games, moved down to the 3 spot today. And there's the number you're referencing, 084 against with 2 strikes, 5th in the country.
Against lefties, that number is even lower, down to 057.
Here's a lefty with a ground ball to second. Right now it'll be 056. Young move to third on the play. Herron has recorded 2 quick outs after the drop pop-up. And she's going to face another lefty. Good news for Robin Herron on paper. There are 5 lefties in this Alabama lineup. And here's the freshman, Anna Roman.
well,
Another lefty that is just right on top of the plate. We've seen this in every game at the SEC tournament, that these left-handed hitters are taking away the inside corner, toes on the line. Seems like she even backed off a half step from where she was in that first pitch. She's trying to cover that curveball that Robin Herron wants to throw. She can throw it backdoor to the inside corner to these left-handed hitters, and then she can throw it away. The away pitch is the one that she wants you to chase off the plate.
Roman, one of the top recruits in the class of 2025. Freshman from the Orlando area in Florida was 2 for 6 against Arkansas with 4 walks in the regular season, and is one of the hotter Tide bats down on the stretch. Had a hit in all 3 games this weekend, and a sweep up Mississippi State. Young at third on a 1-2.
well,
And small sample size though it may be, she faced Robin Herron in the regular season a couple of times and was 2 for 2. Here is a 2-2. Fouled away.
You can tell already they're wanting to hold that changeup here in the first inning, and it's going to be tough to do with the pitch calling because of the familiarity with how well these 2 teams know each other. You're seeing good at-bats already off of Brisky, good at-bats already off of Herron. That totally has to do with how familiar these 2 teams are with each other.
Swing and a miss. She goes to the changeup. And Kennedy Miller, who dropped the ball, completes the out at first. Had to go to plan B or maybe plan C early, Amanda, but it was a winning plan.
With the runner at third in the SEC tournament quarterfinal game, you will take it. Goes to that changeup. It's like a curveball in the outside corner, but just off speed to get the K.
Welcome back to Lexington, where we head to the second inning scoreless between Arkansas and Alabama. When it comes to this Crimson Tide team, they ended the regular season with a sweep against South Carolina, and Coach Murphy said there was pressure going into that series. There were still some SEC regular season championship at stake, with a potential sweep over South Carolina if Oklahoma had lost against Texas A&M, which didn't end up happening, but Alabama made sure they took care of business either way. Murph said there are 3 things we need to do that are keys to victory. A good start, play great team defense, and no extra outs. Somebody has to come up with a key hit. That is high-level softball, and that's how this team closed the season.
They close it with a sweep, Alyssa. They close it in a second place standing in the league after being picked to finish 9th. Alabama is one of the real surprises of the year in college softball as Dakota Kennedy bats and takes low from Jocelyn Brisky. Now that sounds strange, right? Alabama being one of the surprises. They're a program with immaculate pedigree. They're used to being at the World Series. They've won a national championship. But by their standards, things have slipped a little bit. Yes, they made the World Series in 2023 and 24, but it seemed more like they squeaked in. They had to go on the road in Super Regionals. Last year, they got knocked out in Super Regionals. We haven't seen a Tide team put it all together like this, Amanda, in a long time.
And it happened opening weekend. I was so excited. Opening weekend, college softball is starting. All right, let me go check out Alabama and Georgia Tech. And I tuned into Alabama for just an inning, and I could tell that this team was different. There was just something different about their swings. You could tell that Brisky and Vic Moten, the freshman pitcher, were just dominating the circle. They look different in the dugout. I mean, like minute number 1, you tuned in to watch Alabama play, and you could tell that this is going to be a different season than years past.
2 aces with Brisky and Moten. The power's gone way up. 3-2 for Kennedy here. She chases one way out of the zone and still gets her bat to it for a leadoff base hit. This pitch was at Dakota Kennedy's forehead.
Took down, expecting up, and I don't know how she got that. Marley Giles was even confused. You could see her looking around. Brisky is like, man, what do I have to do here? Surprised that she even swung at that pitch to begin with, and that's just how good Dakota Kennedy is, returning back from injury, looking to see her get going at the plate.
Suffered a lower leg injury a couple of weeks ago against Oklahoma, a non-contact injury. We all feared the worst, but Kennedy returned after a couple of weeks. She's not in the field right now, but she's giving them a lift as the designated player. Carly Davison. And an 0-2 count.
This game is really going to test both of these pitchers, and Brisky and Heron. I mean, you can already tell that these at-bats and what they're expecting and what they know about these pitchers are just already really good. And then when you don't get the bottom half of the zone, if you're Brisky for a couple of changeups that she's thrown, it puts more pressure on you. The bottom of the zone with her changeup, and that drop ball, you know, well out of the zone, but she's been trying to locate her changeup right at the knees, not getting the call, and it's forcing her to bring the ball up.
Davison was 3 for 4 against her this season. Brisky dominated almost everybody in the Arkansas lineup, but not for Carly Davison, the All-SEC first-teamer a year ago, who's got a career-high average on-base slugging, RBI number this year.
And as a pitcher, you feel these good at-bats against you, and you feel like you have to do something different. It makes you uncomfortable. I have to be a little bit more perfect, and you're seeing some more wild pitches from Brisky in this inning than we saw in the first.
That was a wild one, but Davison took a wilder hack And Brisky has her second strikeout.
And you also have to think, okay, if Arkansas is going to be this aggressive, I need to expand the zone. You saw her do it with Dakota Kennedy, although she got a hit. Expands the zone here for the strikeout of Davidson, getting her to chase that rise ball well out of the zone.
First pitch, ground ball. Diving play at second by Young. The throw is away from Hawkins, hits the railing though, so Italiarijo is safe at first, but what a stop by Jenna Young, the second baseman, to get the lead out.
Love to see this defense back behind Brisky, grabbing that hit up the middle of the field and just robbing it. That should have absolutely been a hit, but Jenny Young got a good beat on it, tosses it to second for an out. Great play to have her pitchers back in a well-struck ball.
Young, the transfer from Iowa. She has wowed Patrick Murphy defensively.
Ball.
Callie Hedlund was the second baseman here in the past. Pat Murphy told us, I wasn't sure about her defensively because Callie played such a great second, but to quote Murph, holy buckets, she might be as good as Callie.
Ball.
Kaylee Wyckoff in a 2-0 count now after that phenomenal play by Young. Wyckoff had one of the 2 Arkansas home runs yesterday off of a very good lefty, Alyssa Faircloth. Swing and a miss, strike 2. Brisky able to get some strikes with that rise ball. Elevated to punch out Davison. Elevates to get strike 2 on Wyckoff.
Ball.
Already though, her 4th full count in the first 8 batters. Riho will run on a 3-2, and Wyckoff dribbles it foul. And Jocelyn Brisky had a game this year against Florida State where 70 of her 84 pitches were strikes. Frankly, a preposterous number. She threw 14 balls out of 84 pitches. She's already thrown 14 balls out of 39 pitches. Arkansas, seeing her for a 3rd time, has been a little more comfortable than most.
I mean, I'm telling you, this game is really going to test both of these pitchers. Every game of the SEC tournament is, because you've already seen each other so much. There's a lot of familiarity, but some of these teams in the matchups of the SEC tournament, they haven't played each other this year. But when you play each other in a 3-game series and then have to face each other a 4th time, that is such a grind, especially when it's a top 10 team.
A pitch to Wyckoff here on the 2nd. Ground ball, second base. Young again. A couple of ground outs to Young. One a dazzling play and a scoreless 2 for Brisky. That was picked this low to win the SEC tournament was 2017. Ole Miss was picked 10th, but Ole Miss was actually the 8th seed that year. They weren't far off from their preseason pick. What do you think people got wrong about Alabama coming into the year?
I think it's more so the changes that they made in the offseason. I think that they came together as a coaching staff and put their heads together after super regionals, and Coach Murphy said he challenged everyone on staff that everything needs to be better and we all need to do better.
Ball.
Lance McMahon went to work in the bullpen and he's done a great job calling pitches, Coach Murphy said. And Adam Arbor, their hitting coach, along with Caleb Rowe, had a plan ready for every single hitter the first week of school. And so those changes and putting their heads together as a coaching staff is what beat the odds there. I think everybody was kind of expecting Alabama to just continue on along the same path, which was just kind of average for this Alabama program and the history of it. And this year, they've outperformed what everybody thought.
Raucous nights at the Roadhouse all season long for the Crimson Tide. Who again have been to the World Series 2 of the last 3. It's not like this thing has been dead in the water, but they haven't been a top regional and super regional host in some time. They had to sneak in on the road in those last 2 supers. And to hear from Robin Herron to Marley Giles. This has been domination. This has been more like some of the great Alabama teams of years past. Power, base running, defense, pitching. The total package. Giles takes a leadoff walk. And Alabama has a leadoff runner on against Robin Herron for a second time. Well, how about this? Here in Lexington, Kentucky, you can watch some great softball and get a little grilled cheese on a giant panini press. I got to get one of these for the kitchen.
I think that's like the biggest piece of toast I've ever seen in my life. That's not the same toast I have
Texas
at my house.
toast,
That is,
maybe?
it is like Texas toast, but we're in Kentucky.
Oh, so here's the thing. You can get Texas toast in other states, too. Here's a little butt drop down by Vandegrift. She's safe at first. Audrey Vandegrift legged it out for a bunt single.
That's the best part about a sacrifice bunt situation when you have somebody like Vandegrift and her speed at the plate is that a sacrifice bunt can turn into a bunt single. Audrey Vandegrift has a little bit of pop in her bat, and she just has the speed to be able to turn her bat around, or square around, I should say, put the bunt down. She didn't even run through the box on that. She was completely flat-footed, dedicated to putting the bunt down, and she still beat it out with her speed.
Awfully close play. Good save by the base umpire, Megan Rabin. Courtney Deifel doesn't want to use a challenge this early. So 2 on, nobody out against Herron, and Ambry Taylor, the freshman, goes up swinging. A great freshman year for Taylor. Now she tries to lay down a bunt and ends up in the 9th row. Taylor does not have a sacrifice bunt on the year, and it looks like that will continue to be the case. Freshman from Jasper, Alabama.
Ball.
Takes wide. Taylor has not been a regular starter this year. She only had 2 pinch hit at-bats against Arkansas, though she did have an RBI in both of those at-bats, including the only Alabama home run of that series.
Ball.
It's a great stop by Kennedy Miller, something that Coach Deifel has praised Kennedy Miller is just her job of keeping pitches in the dirt in front of her, and her glove work on balls in the dirt so good, and gives the pitchers confidence to throw there still.
Popped up by Taylor. Miller, the catcher, squeezes the first out. So the Tide now 1 for 5 with runners on base. The bunt single for Vandegrift. The sun shining down on John Kropp Stadium. It'll be Salin Hawkins.
Ball.
Hawkins may be known more for her glove like a lot of shortstops, but no slouch in the box. 302 hitter. A little bit of pop. This one popped up down the line in right. And in fair territory, Bain makes the catch, throws to third. And a very close play. Giles is ruled safe. That was a gutsy move with already 2 outs in the inning. And Courtney Deifel may want a challenge. She's out of the dugout. From the up cam, what a look. It appears that she got the foot down there first. Now Courtney Deifel could be either calling for a challenge on the play at third, or if she left early.
I'm going to go replay for the tag at third base.
Brooklyn of safe at third base is being challenged by Arkansas. Play further review.
Thank you. Thank you.
Coaches have 2 challenges. If you get the challenge right, you retain your challenge. But if Arkansas loses this, they'll be down to 1. From the ump cam of Anthony Small, a great
Ruling
look.
on the field is safe, correct?
Looks like that's going to stand.
Yeah, and it did look like the throw beat her, so I know exactly why Coach Deifel is doing this, because it was deceptive too. By the way, Bain's throw just got there so much quicker than I thought that it was going to third base, and then Ella McDowell went up for a high tag instead of straight down to the bag, and that could have been the difference maker in her being out and safe. Foot's on the bag.
After further review, the play on the field is confirmed. Arkansas loses the challenge. They have one left.
So good effort by Brindley Bain, who is only making her 7th start of the year in right field. She's played there with the injury to Dakota Kennedy. But Giles' gamble pays off with an extra base. First and third, 2 down for Kristen White. White shows bunt. Boy, Giles got a huge lead off of third there. Alabama could try to be a little tricky here with Vandegrift, a very good runner at first.
Arkansas on defense needs to be decisive about this first and third play, especially with speed at the plate, speed at first. Need to communicate well on this play.
White swinging away, slaps one into foul territory, and it lands foul. Senior Kristen White had lost her starting spot early in the year, has picked it back up late in a year where she's been a little in and out of the lineup. Patrick Murphy talked to us about it, said we have a few seniors who were essentially recruited over in a sense, lost their jobs this year. White's fought well to get hers back. And she puts her bat to ball here and snaps it foul. Had not started back-to-back games in center field until April 7th. Then Audrey Vandegrift moved over to left. Lauren Johnson out of the lineup. White back in it. On 0-2, floated into left again, and that lands in front of Wyckoff, who's probably wondering if she can just line up in foul territory.
Well, if you're on defense and you have Kristen White at the plate, you see a ball in the air, everybody is going as hard as they can to possibly get that ball in the air, knowing the speed of White and how much easier of a play that could be if they could get it in the air. Now she moved herself over a little bit. Wyckoff did, closer to the foul line.
White fouls it away again. It's basically playing double third. First and third with 2 down. Herron trying to tightrope her way out of another inning. And she throws ball 1, and now Vandegrift will take second and pick up a steal.
I want to remember how tough of a battle this is for a lefty with 2 strikes going up against Herron. Lefty's batting .057 against her with 2 strikes. Kristen White is trying to hang in there.
Fouled away another. What's the best way to finish off a slapper?
At this point, I'd like to see a changeup in the dirt, which is a little bit risky with a runner at third base, but oftentimes you can get them out in front.
That's nearly in the dirt. And Anthony Small rules it a check swing, 2-2.
It's a great holdback by Kristen White. Awesome pitch by Herron. This is a strikeout pitch that normally strikes hitters out, and a questionable check swing there that does not go in the way of Herron.
Could have gone her way. Instead, she'll freeze her on the next one. So Herron strands a second and a third runner in scoring position in the first 2 innings.
Changeup didn't work, so she goes to the backdoor curveball to freeze White. Paints the inside corner. Herron battled. Runners on.
Jenny Young with 2 of the web gems of the tournament. Think that young fan's ready for Texas? Is that a little sideways hook 'em horns we got there hanging out on the berm? Maybe. Kennedy Miller down to third is retired by Jocelyn Brisky. Horns are coming up next. They get Ole Miss at 5 Eastern, 4 Central. That'll be the start of our quarterfinal night session. Oklahoma and Georgia after that. We've already seen Florida outslug Auburn 10-9 to advance to the SEC tournament semifinals. The Gators 6-time champs. Alabama has tied Florida with 6 tournament titles. Arkansas, the champions, only once in 2022. Jocelyn Brisky to Reagan Johnson here. And strike 2.
Texas Ole Miss. Ole Miss is playing well. Texas lost their last series to Arkansas and Austin.
Johnson frozen, and that's the 3rd strikeout for Brisky, twice against Johnson.
A low rise on the outside corner. Brisky gets underneath that pitch. Giles frames it up. She went right at Reagan Johnson, who went to a full count in her first at bat. 3 pitches in that one.
Struck out looking both times.
Ball.
Got it into Brindley Bain, only the 2nd first pitch ball to 11 hitters for Jocelyn Brisky. Needs a quick inning. 20 and 21 pitches respectively in the first 2. This is her 6th of the 3rd.
Brindley Bain had a great at bat against Brisky in the first inning. She has such a good eye for a freshman. It's incredibly rare to have the patience for a freshman that Bain has shown in her freshman year.
1-2. Ground ball to shortstop. A retreating Hawkins throws her out. That's an 8-pitch inning for Brisky. 0-0. A lot of runs could be scored between those 2 teams in the nightcap. Don't forget, Oklahoma's Kendall Wells is on the verge of history. Their freshman catcher, 36 home runs, one off the record of Laura Espinoza, which has stood for more than 30 years. Wells has not homered in her last 19 plate appearances, her longest drought of the season. Can tie, can also break the record tonight against Georgia right here on SEC Network. So 2nd time through for Robin Herron. 3 base runners against her. A walk, a bunt single, and an error. So she hasn't been touched up much, but she's had to throw a lot of pitches under duress, and she has held Arkansas to 1 for 7 with that bunt hit with runners on base. Two strikes on the leadoff hitter, Jenna Young here, who strikes out swinging. 3rd of the game for Herron. Well, you know, Kendall Wells is not the only Wells to look out for in the SEC this season. Hannah, newcomer with 12 home runs at Texas. And how about Brooke right here for Alabama? All's well that ends with Wells, apparently, in the league. 69 combined home runs. Brooke Wells has 21 homers. She probably figures, boy, there's not going to be a better Wells transfer in the conference than me.
And they're all new to the SEC this year. A freshman and no, 2 freshmen in a transfer.
Brooke is a transfer. Only 2 transfers taken by Alabama. Patrick Murphy said a couple of coaching staff changes. Young from Iowa, Wells, who had a good year at Houston. A good year, not a great year. Not like the year she's had at Alabama. She is tied for 3rd in Crimson Tide history. 21 home runs in a single season.
I think, though, as a recruit, this is what people thought that Brooke Wells was going to do. It's not too surprising. There was a familiar connection as well with Kyle Hollis, who pitched at Louisiana, and Murph has his connections at Louisiana, who Kyla Hollis helps with the USA Junior National team that Brooke Wells played on, and which Murphy called her about her. Strikes out there with that one of those fantastic change-ups by Robin Herron. It's a big out. 2 strikeouts the top of the order, second time that they're facing Heron. One on a curve and then one on a changeup. Look at that chase on that pitch. So tough with 2 strikes. You get 2 strikes, it is just so tough to get a hit and get on against Robin Heron.
She struck out 3 in a row. Sends one on the outside to Alexis Papillo. First pitch strikes to 10 out of 12 hitters for Heron. First pitch strikes to 9 of 11 hitters for Brisky.
And look at how she's already using that changeup more the second time through. We talked about that she used it pretty much sparingly the first time through. Alabama had some great at-bats off of her. She only used it in deep at-bats when she had to, but now this second time through, I think that we're going to see a little bit more Robin Heron changeup.
A swinging strike, and Bell holds the bag at first on the play for Miller. Heron strikes out the side against the top 3 hitters.
Quick work in the 3rd inning for both pitchers. Robin Heron gets 3 strikeouts against the top of the order. A curve, a change, and then another chased change down in the dirt.
For the K's, Heron has 2 more strikeouts than Brisky. 2 all-SEC capable pitchers here, Amanda, and they've had to dip a little bit into the reserves early. Some different pitch mixes, though, you might see, but both with really crisp 3rd innings.
Settling into this game, just getting a feel for each other and what the other team is looking for, playing a little chess match already early in this game.
Part of the order here for Arkansas, Ella McDowell. Both pitchers have faced 12 batters now, will have faced 12 batters by the end here. Both have thrown 10 first pitch strikes. McDowell flat out to right, and she's in an 0-2 hole instantly. Jocelyn Brisky, that week she beat Arkansas with 2 complete games, was the SEC Pitcher of the Week, D1 Softball Pitcher of the Week, Softball America Star Pitcher of the Week, 24 Ks, 2 walks against the Razorbacks.
Ball.
Doesn't get the low pitch there, and it's 1-2. Coming off another great weekend against South Carolina, 2 earned in 12 2/3, 14-1 strikeout to walk numbers there.
No ball.
What a great crowd that we have here today on this beautiful day, too. I mean, you never know when the home team gets out of the tournament how the crowd is going to be. Kentucky lost on Tuesday, but Lexington softball fans have shown up on the outfield, all behind home plate. Awesome crowds that we've had on a beautiful day.
Wow. That ball was in the glove by the time McDowell swung. A blister from Brisky, her 4th K.
Just a late decision by Ella McDowell. A low rise ball. Brisky has just had such good control of her rise ball, being able to throw that pitch through the zone. Get a good swing and miss on it.
No swing by Tiana Bell there. It's a ball in the dirt. Bell homered yesterday on a 2-0 pitch from Alyssa Faircloth. Also reached on a single. This ball slammed to right field. It's down, and it gets past Roman to the wall. Bell to second, not stopping there. All the way to 3rd with a triple. Her first triple of the season, thanks to a critical miscue by the freshman Roman in right.
Tiana Bell is so strong. That pitch was inside, and she just kind of got jammed with it, but let that pitch get deep, and Anna Roman has to keep that ball in front of her. It is just an absolute must. A single, or what would have been a single, turn into a triple because of that mistake.
And Arkansas has a runner in scoring position for the first time with Dakota Kennedy, a 2-time All-American at the plate. Kennedy has a base hit already. First run of the game is 60 feet away. Kennedy down 0-2, trying to bring her in. That's not only Bell's first triple of the year, it's her first career triple. And 584 at-bats, over 600 plate appearances, her 201st college start. 2 strikes on Kennedy, trying to bring in the first run.
Ball.
Takes wide for ball 1.
Kennedy just brings a big presence to the plate for Arkansas and a really good eye, works counts.
She has more walks than strikeouts on the year. That rare blend of power and great contact skills. Look at what she did against Alabama in the regular season. Knocked in 7 in the 3-game set. Ground ball hit to shortstop. Hawkins goes to first and holds the runner Bell. Well, there was a little extra zip there. Brisky was hitting 71-72 as she gets Kennedy out.
Yeah, it's the hardest that she's thrown the whole game. She had been 69, maybe touching 70, but here in the middle of the game, she was hitting 72, ramping things up a bit.
Carly Davison.
Ball.
Davison was 3 for 4 against Brisky in the regular season series. Struck out against a rise ball that went way up and in her first at-bat. The game's first run down there at third.
Ball.
And Davison's in a 2-0 count. Brisky's 2-0. Lost control of it. Sneaks away from Giles. And Bell scores standing. A wild pitch by Brisky. And in this pitcher's duel, a couple of Alabama mistakes compel the first Arkansas run.
Just checking out both of them.
Right to the ground. She just missed her release point completely, and I'm sure why Brisky wasn't covering home, and Marley Giles, the only option that she had when she got the ball that went behind her was to just dive because nobody was covering home. Maybe it wouldn't have mattered anyway, but great effort by Marley Giles to try to make a play after that ball got behind her. She did everything that she could, came up limping. They're checking on her now to make sure that she's okay. Just spiked that into the ground.
The 4th wild pitch of the season for Brisky.
And look where this ball hits the ground. About halfway to the plate. That was tough to block by Giles, but you see she hesitated to cover home, and then it was just too late. But as soon as you see that ball hit the ground as a pitcher, you have to go cover home. Who knows if it would have made a difference, but just interesting that she didn't.
Well, Giles is trying to walk off this play, standing behind the plate, bouncing back and forth a little bit here. 2-0 is the count on Carly Davison. Just the 4th wild pitch. Beg your pardon, the 8th wild pitch for Brisky this year. And now she hits Davison. Or I should say that was a walk. It was 3-0. The pitch that hit in the dirt was 3-0. So a walk of Davison. 2 walks in the game already for Brisky. A very strange inning for her. And Lance McMahon is out. It's only the 6th game this year out of Jocelyn Brisky's 29 where she's walked 2 batters. What happened on that wild pitch? What in her release got discombobulated to put the ball straight into the ground?
It just looked like it almost slipped out of her hands a little bit, like as she was releasing it, and it came out early, therefore going straight into the ground. But there's been some wildness here. You know, you've seen her rise ball go really high. You've seen her drop ball go really low. This is a wild pitch that scored the run. Just definitely off.
Ball.
And a 1 to Italia Rijo. Brisky has only walked 3 batters in a game 1 time this year. 2 walks, 4 Ks today. And look, given what we just saw with Auburn Florida, this is still a great pitching performance, but the margins are a little bit thinner with these aces on the mound.
Well, in this game, too, in terms of postseason and national seeding for the selection show on Sunday, both of these teams are very, 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 very likely going to be top 8 national seeds. So they're pretty much set. Not even necessarily a bubble team. They've played tremendous seasons. There's just a little pride going on, wanting to perform well here.
You know, down looking, strike 3. Bookend K's in the inning. But Tiana Bell brings in the first run.
Tiana Bell with a triple that motored on over to third after a mistake. A couple of defensive mistakes by Alabama for Arkansas's first run. It's in the sun, but maybe not.
Where is that out behind the poles in center field? Oh, in right center field, okay. A lot of activity out there on the berm today. You kids having a catch, and you got kids taking a nap. 1-0 game here. Don't sleep for long. Anna Roman trying to make up for that miscue in the field. Now the play that was ruled a triple has been changed to a single and an E9. Now it didn't look like Roman touched the ball, which is usually the standard for a play like that, to give an error. However, upon consultation, the triple has been changed to a single and an E9. That's good for Jocelyn Brisky's ERA. Doesn't matter for the score. And it's still 1-0. But it's of note to those of you who might be keeping score at home or curious-minded among us. 2-1 from Robin Herron. Swing and a miss.
That changeup is so tough for Robin Herron because it actually is #1 in the SEC in horizontal breaks. So that's why it's so tough for these left-handed hitters, because it goes down and away from them.
Robin Herron struck out the side for the 15th time in an inning in the third. Young, Wells, and Papillo, the last 2 were on the changeup. Not here as Roman takes one to run the count full. The Alabama cleanup hitter. Takes strike 3. 4 in a row, the second time through the order. 5 in a row, back to the second inning for Herron.
Back to the backdoor curveball. This lefty on lefty matchup cuts that backdoor curveball inside to Anna Roman. Gets her looking. Several of these strikeouts, a couple actually, both the looking strikeouts that she's had have been on the backdoor curveball to left-handed hitters.
5 straight strikeouts for Herron. Second in the SEC in strikeouts per 7, only behind the pitcher who threw yesterday, Alyssa Faircloth, at the end of the week, 5th in the country in strikeouts per 7 innings. I want to go by strikeout rate as well. 38% strikeout rate. That means nearly 4 out of every 10 batters that Robin Herron faces, 38% of the batters she faces, she strikes out. That's elite. That's the 5th highest mark in the country as well. And all for a pitcher who's not overwhelming you with speed. And sometimes for folks watching at home, it can seem maybe unusual that Robin Herron gets so many strikeouts, sitting around 68, 61 off speed, but about the spin, about the release. And we see a lot of weak contact, too, against her, man.
And speed doesn't play as much. I mean, even Carlin Pickens is getting barreled up, and she's throwing 76, 77. But with Robin Herron's stuff, all 4 seasons that she's been at Arkansas, opponents have hit under 200 against her, along with Kennedy, Pickens, and Maya Johnson from Belmont.
And that's a crazy list as Herron strikes out her 6th in a row, because those are the top 3 picks in the AUSL draft. Maybe somebody should have picked Robin Herron.
She's in great company with all those listed seniors as well. Change up that she actually throws through the strike zone. Doesn't even need a chase there, but she gets a whiff.
6 straight Ks, trying to strike out the side for a 2nd consecutive inning. Down and into Audrey Vandegrift. Why isn't she one of the players that was drafted in the AUSL? Why does she fly a little under the radar?
That's a great question. I'd love to get into the heads of the GMs because I think they had some big decisions to make.
Fly ball to right from Vandegrift. After all the strikeouts, Alabama strikes back. Audrey Vandegrift goes left on left, hits her 7th home run of the season, and the Tide ties it.
If you want to avoid the changeup, her best 2-strike pitch, hit a curveball early in the count or a rise ball that's just left up and over the plate like Audrey Vandegrift just did. Solo home run as she pulls that pitch to tie up this game, barely gets over that the right field fence. And Audrey Vandegrift in Alabama answer back to tie up this game after Robin Herron was rolling. All those strikeouts in a row, 1 pitch is all it took to tie it out.
Vandegrift, who was the leadoff hitter much of the year, has been dropped down to the lineup, hitting 6th today. And Patrick Murphy told us he asked her about maybe making a lineup change, and she was great with it right away. Said, absolutely, whatever you need to do. And Vandegrift, down in the 6th spot, cracks a home run off of Herron after 6 straight strikeouts. First home run since April 17th, snapping a 9-game homerless drought, and just her 2nd against a lefty all year long. Ambry Taylor, the number 7 hitter. Taylor rips one fair. That's inside the 3rd base bag. And Taylor pulls up with a double and tries to ignite her dugout with a 2nd straight Crimson Tide extra base hit.
And this is off of the changeup now that's left up in the zone, and Taylor gets around it and barely keeps it fair past a diving Ella McDowell that's so quick over there at 3rd base. It hits the chalk. You can see it fly in the air. Back-to-back extra base hits for Alabama after 6 strikeouts in a row by Herron.
7th double of the year for Taylor, 16th extra base hit. And now ball 1 to Hawkins. Salen Hawkins with a red, white, and blue bat here on a 1-0 pitch. Looks like she's holding a rocket pop in her hand.
Is that what that was called?
Yes. Those of us who love to frequent the neighborhood ice cream truck, sometimes you end up with a rocket pop. Not a bad nickname for a bat, come to think of it.
There was a bat called the Rocket Tech, and it was a good bat. The Rocket Pop.
Oh, the bomb pops, I think, is what they're being called. Our statistician, Karen Johns, is telling me they were bomb pops, not a rocket pop. That's the spinoff. Or if it isn't, sounds like I'm gotta go to Shark Tank and pitch that idea. Swing and a miss. And Aaron strikes out 3 in the inning, but a little traffic in between, and a big fly from Audrey Vandegrift.
It may be a pitcher's duel, but these offenses are not going to make it easy. After 6 straight strikeouts by Robin Herron, Audrey Vandegrift with the solo home run off of her bat to tie it up.
Some of the winners of yesterday's second round. Ole Miss. Auburn here is a 14 seed. Lost today. Ole Miss at 13. Setting Tennessee. Carlin Pickens in relief. And the Georgia Bulldogs. Got a complete game from Randy Rolling. And 5 extra base hits to go along with it. They beat LSU. Here's the bracket as it stands. All leading up to Saturday night's championship. 5 Eastern, 4 Central on ESPN.
I'm sure Georgia would like another chance at Oklahoma. They played them in Norman, and game 1 and game 2 were pretty much all Oklahoma. Game 3, Georgia was right there with Oklahoma. I'm sure they're looking forward to getting another crack at him. Georgia playing very well. Series against Florida where they really hit the ball well in Athens for their final regular season series, and then hit the ball well last night against LSU. Those bats are hot.
Georgia likely a host seed, RPI of 14, strength of schedule 5. 11 wins against the RPI top 25. Beat Oklahoma, you'd certainly firm that up. They don't have any bad losses on their ledger at 37 and 17. These two teams 1 and 2 in the nation in RPI. One of them goes on to win the SEC tournament. You could be looking at the #1 overall seed. Oklahoma's certainly in that mix. As Kaylee Wyckoff strokes the ball to center for a base hit. And for the second time today, Arkansas puts on the leadoff hitter.
Well, Kevin, in that Georgia-Oklahoma series, Oklahoma run-rolled Georgia in game 1, and then it was a 3-1 game in game 2, but you just felt like Oklahoma had control of that game, you know, but Georgia played them tight, and then a 1-run game to finish things off. So you could progressively see Georgia get better in that series, and then took that momentum right into their series against Florida, where they just scored a ton of runs in those last 2 games. They scored 19 runs against Florida in the last 2, including a run roll in game 3.
Came back from down 5 in the middle game to beat the Gators. Here's a bunt try for Kennedy Miller. Jabs it over to first. Wells thought about going the long way to second. Takes the out at first instead. So the #9 hitter Miller with a successful sacrifice bunt. It's her 4th of the year, and it puts Wyckoff in scoring position for the top of the order. And Arkansas will bring in a pinch runner. Kyler Del Duca will run for Wyckoff. So 3 innings to go in this SEC quarterfinal. Arkansas brings in its first substitute. But they bunted to get to Johnson, who is having a lot of trouble here. She's 0 for 8 with 7 strikeouts against Brisky now this year. And she has struck out looking both times today.
This is the first defense that I've seen play Reagan Johnson straight up. When I had their series for Arkansas against Oklahoma, Oklahoma brought in an outfielder to the infield with Abby Dayton, but here pretty much straight up. Texas played a big shift as well. Just trying to make things difficult with her speed and the idea that she wants to put the ball on the ground. She wants to be able to use her speed, trying to make it as difficult as possible with those defensive shifts. But Alabama playing things pretty straight up.
Brisky has fallen behind 3-1. Jocelyn Brisky has only walked 3 batters once this year. That's a strike right in there. Del Duca trying to get as big of a secondary lead as she can, with the defense constantly in motion. 3-2 now for Johnson. Left side toward the line and hung on to by Vandegrift for out number 2.
Tough day at the plate for Reagan Johnson with a couple of strikeouts and an unproductive out there. Just an easy pop-up in the air, just not advancing the runner. Close game like this, every out in that 60 feet are just so important, especially here late in the game.
Johnson only hit .244 in the league this year. And only slugged .244. Hasn't had an extra base hit in conference games. She has stayed in that leadoff spot. And now it's up to the hitter behind her, Brinley Bain.
Well, Courtney Deifel said that Brinley Bain is maybe the hardest worker she's ever seen. And she said, we're a culture of working hard. So for her to come in and outwork anything we've ever seen is incredible. She'll leave no stone unturned on the way to being great. She's just a freshman.
Out of Eagleville, Tennessee. She is typically a very patient freshman, Alyssa. 40-plus walks, 20 or fewer strikeouts in the regular season. Last freshman to do that played for Alabama, Bailey Hemphill, 9 years ago. But she's deep in the hole here against Brisky on 1-2. Bain puts it in the air to left field. High fly for Vandegrift, and Wyckoff's leadoff single leads to nothing for Arkansas. Bottom then top for the Tide. Now time for today's extra effort, brought to you by Regions Bank.
There's been some extra spin and changing of speeds in the hand of Robin Herron today with her 8 strikeouts, several on her changeup, but her curveball is working too. Look at the locations of these curveballs, right at the knees, working both sides of the plate, getting chases off the plate, being able to freeze hitters with her backdoor curve inside. The lefty on lefty matchup against Robin Herron is truly one of the toughest in the country when it comes to the lefties being able to have good at bats and good swings and pick up the ball out of her hand. Extremely deceptive.
Struck out 7 of the last 9. Here's a bunt by Kristen White. She deadens it, and she is safe at first. A bunt base hit on the first pitch of the Bama 5th.
Struck out in her last at bat, so why not just square around and try to put a bunt down and use your speed to turn over this order. Bang, bang play. Great catch by Davidson to try to keep her foot on the bag. That was so close. They're going to review it.
Safe at first base, being challenged by Arkansas.
I think it's going to get
further review.
I think this is going to get overturned. What an athletic play by Davidson. Look at the position that she's in. That is so tough for a second baseman who's on the move to keep her toe on the bag while she is fully extended, and knowing that the runner is right there, could easily run into her arm. Harley Davidson, that is an incredible catch and not easy at all, and I bet this is going to get overturned.
Right there. Ball's in the glove, foot's over the bag. And the foot's on the bag of Davison, too. So this should be a leadoff out for Robin Herron to get. What a great look we have.
The position that she's in right there. And the fact that she kept the ball in her glove.
After review, the play is changed at first base. The runner is out. Arkansas retains their challenge.
So 1 pitch and 1 out for Robin Herron in the 5th inning. And Ella McDowell does very well to get rid of it from third. It'll go down as a 5-4 out. The only team in the SEC with the same defensive alignment on the infield every game this year. McDowell, Rijo, Davison, Bell. They've started all 53 games in their respective positions. One of the big reasons why Arkansas has the 7th best fielding percentage in the nation. They're the only team in the top 10 in Division I in fielding percentage and double plays. They've turned 36 double plays this year. 1-1 to Jenny Young, leadoff hitter for a 3rd time.
It's going to be a big test for Robin Herron here with, again, the familiarity between these two teams. It's going to be the 3rd time through the order that Alabama will face her in this game.
Yeah, she's got the bomb pop bat, too. It's not quite bomb pop weather, but it is brilliantly sunny.
Ball.
Not a cloud in that sight. 61 and sunny. Just a few little wispy ones low on the horizon beyond center field.
Ball.
Inside, tried to backdoor curver again. Young reached on an error on a drop pop-up by the shortstop Rio and struck out swinging. Robin Herron has punched out 8. Good fight here by Jenna Young. Hit over 360 in 2 years at Iowa. Good extra base power in her career. Does not strike out much at all. Out one's popped up. Kyler Del Duca stays in the game to play left and drops the ball. Oh my word. That's twice off the bat of Young. Drop pop-ups by Rio and Del Duca, both on the left side.
Could tell she was dealing with the sun, put her hands up, she's got her visor, got the shade, and she was camped under it, and it was in her glove. It was right there.
Jenna Young's made some kind of a deal with the devil. On base twice with 2 base errors, and now Brooke Wells launches one to the berm. Number 22 for Brooke Wells. A big fly, 1 pitch after the drop fly. Alabama has the lead.
Wasting no time. Both of Alabama's home runs are on the first pitch of the at-bat. Curveball that she gets, again, not wanting to mess with the changeup. If you are batting against a pitcher that is so good with 2 strikes, swing early in the count like Wells. On time, barrels it up, beautiful swing, just so deep into her legs, and the fan out in the center field makes a great catch. Alabama with the lead now.
Monstrous shot, 261 feet past the 220-foot wall in center. Wells was tied with Kayla Hunt for the 3rd most home runs in a single season. She breaks that tie, and she is now 4 shy of the record set by Bailey Hemphill in 2019. It's the 2nd time Robin Herron's given up 2 home runs in a game this year. The first was against Oklahoma, the 1 seed in the SEC. The 2nd time is against the 2 seed, Alabama. Swing and a miss by Alexis Papillo, and it's 1-2. And that drop fly ball by Kyler Del Duca leads directly to an extra run.
You can just tell that Alabama, when they've been aggressive in the count, even though Anna Griffiths wasn't on the first pitch, it was on the first strike that she saw in the at-bat. Brooke Wells being aggressive. Again, you just want to try to avoid getting 2 strikes against a pitcher like Herron.
Papillo with 2 strikes. Another drive to center, and they go back-to-back. You want to avoid 2 strikes, but if you can't, might as well launch one past the berm. Wells and Papillo back-to-back for a 3-run Alabama lead. This one 266.
78 miles an hour off of the bat. Look at her go down and get this. That is knee high. Not an easy pitch at all, but clearly looking for that curveball in the outer half. She gets it, and look at her just stay down on this beautiful swing by Papillo. Back-to-back home runs in this inning off of Herron, who was just rolling. This 3rd time through, Alabama is seeing her even bigger.
Robin Herron was mowing down Alabama hitters left and right until Audrey Vandegrift's home run in the fourth. 3 home runs in a span of 7 batters, and for the first time in her college career, Robin Herron allows 3 home runs. Back with more next from Lexington. Alexis Papillo goes deep in the tied lead, 4-1.
And I'm told by the coaches, guys, that Alexis Papillo keeps a journal in the dugout. She charts pitches that she sees. Murph says she's just a professional hitter, and she's been working on that power since the offseason. Right now, she's squatting 405 and benching 205.
Goals I'm not even going to try to attain. And when you bench 405 and squat 205, you can hit a ball 266 feet. Off of a pitcher, by the way, Robin Herron, who in 448 and a third career innings, 448 and a third, had never allowed 2 home runs in the same inning, let alone back-to-back home runs. So that's a first against this all-SEC caliber pitcher, whose pitching line looked a heck of a lot different 7 batters ago, until this Bama bombardment. Freshman Sailor Timmerman is in the game, and she gets a ground ball out off the bat of Anna Roman.
You said 7 batters ago, and I'm thinking, I know that was with the Vandegrift home run, but it felt like it was a totally different line 7 minutes ago.
Yes.
I mean, all this has just happened so quickly as Sailor Timmerman, the freshman, enters into this game. And that throw a drop ball, rise ball, and also a changeup. That drop ball is the pitch she's going to go to the most, but can also bring the ball up in the zone with her rise.
Ball.
Well, Jenna Young reached on an error. Kyler Del Duca ran for Kaylee Wyckoff in the top of the 5th, came in to play defense, and just did not catch a fly ball down the line. And then back-to-back home runs. That sequence hasn't happened in an SEC game all year. An error leading to back-to-back home runs. And it happens here to give Alabama a 3-run lead in the SEC quarterfinal. Florida Gators awaiting the winner tomorrow at 5 Eastern, 4 Central. Three teams all in the mix for one of the top seeds in the NCAA tournament. Alabama and Arkansas, both in the top 2 at RPI. Arkansas's #1, Alabama's #2. Dreams of maybe even the #1 overall seed if they can run the slate here in Lexington, win the tournament.
Ball.
3-2 from Timmerman to Marley Giles. Tide's #5 hitter on a full count pitch. Takes ball 4. Their second walk. Both of Alabama's walks belong to Giles, and Patrick Murphy will run for her. It'll be Kinley Pate into the game at first. Audrey Vandegrift's home run got Alabama on the board last inning. Remember, they had really been struggling, Amanda. They had not been hitting the ball well. Alabama just 1.8 runs per game over their last 5, hitting 175. And even with a sweep of Mississippi State, they really didn't hit well. South Carolina, beg your pardon. All 3 one-run wins, low-scoring games. So the season numbers were one thing. The recent numbers were something else. But Patrick Murphy did not seem concerned. And I guess now we know why
Well, a lot of credit to South Carolina. The past couple of series that they had in SEC play, they did a really good job of shutting down some good offenses. Won the series against Texas A&M and then pitched to Alabama tight in those low-scoring games. So a lot of credit to South Carolina for the way that they pitched down the stretch.
Chopper, shortstop. Rijo puts the tag on at second for the final out. Bama breaks the tie. The 7th time this year the Tide have gone back-to-back.
Wells and Papillo, bang, bang off of Robin Herron. Crimson Tide just got on time with her, knocked her out of the game, grabbed the lead, and now Arkansas has their backs against the wall.
Alexis Papillo and Brooke Wells and Alabama, 3 home runs against Robin Herron. First time Robin Herron's allowed 3 home runs in the game in her career. And we are a little bit late on the field because Alabama did challenge the play that ended the inning. They challenged the tag at second base as Kinley Pate slid in. The call on the field was confirmed. Pate's foot was late.
I just have a question.
Yeah.
Halo talked about breaking up the no-hitter with the bunt single by Vandegrip. That was in the 2nd inning. Second hitter. So there was a no-hitter going into the 2nd inning, Halo?
I guess when you're Robin Herron, you're on no-hit watch after an inning of play. And she's good, yeah.
That is impressive, though, to have the bunt single, using your speed to get on, finding a way, and then, like, it's very reminiscent of a lot of players that we see, like Haley McClenny, being able to use her speed to get down the line and then hit a home run like that. That was a pivotal moment in this game.
Jocelyn Brisky has a 3-run lead. He's going to face the heart of the order for the 3rd time here. Ella McDowell, Tiana Bell, and Dakota Kennedy. That's a swing by McDowell. It's 0-1. First pitch strikes today, 15 out of 21. Defensive lineup is in. Larissa Pruitt in right field. And Abby Dukeshire at first. 2 seniors who lost their starting spots this year, but Patrick Murphy said have had such great attitudes all season. And Dukeshire will grab this throw across the way from Ambry Taylor. McDowell is 0 for 6 here at the tournament. Tiana Bell with a hit and 2 at-bats. Goes to right field. That ball will trace out of play. Alabama has 2 terrific starting pitchers on the staff, Jocelyn Brisky and Vic Moulton. And those 2 with a 146 and 161 ERA respectively. Each thrown over 120 innings. Popped up here. Brisky will give way to Giles for a basket catch. 2 down. Win a tournament like this, even though it's only 3-3, you probably need another starter. And if they get through this game with Brisky, you get to Vic Moulton tomorrow against Florida. Alabama hasn't had a 1-2 punch like this in quite some time.
And Vic Moulton is electric. You get Brisky pitching the way that she's pitched this year, and the improvement and just raising up, I'm not even going to say 1 level, multiple levels with the way that she's throwing like an All-American this year. And you get the freshman and Moulton, who has just made hitters look so silly all year long. I mean, February for Vic Moulton was just the one word, electric, for the way that she pitched, and tons of swings and misses, velocity, an electric rise ball up through the zone. She can go down with her drops. So good.
Ball. 2 balls and a strikeout. Dakota Kennedy. Arkansas has only been held to 1 or no runs 5 times this season. 2 of those 5 games started by Jocelyn Brisky. Swing and a miss. High riser, and it's 2-2. Razorbacks talked about their balance. Courtney Deifel wanted to build a more balanced team 1 through 9, and she has. Brisky has carved them up today 1 through 9. And into the bottom of the 6th we go. Brisky and the Tide on the verge of the SEC semis. A 4-1, the number 2 seed Crimson Tide over the number 7 seed Razorbacks. 3rd seeded Florida awaits the winner in tomorrow's first semifinal, 5 Eastern, 4 Central on ESPN. Sailor Timmerman pitching to Ambry Taylor, 7-8-9 here for the Tide in the 6th. Arkansas took the lead in the 4th. Tiana Bell singled on the ball that skipped past the right fielder Anna Roman. Originally ruled a triple. Roman did not touch it. This is a high, towering drive to center. It keeps going, and it's gone. Ambry Taylor up in the jet stream. The 4th home run of the day for Alabama. All 5 runs have come across on the long ball. Taylor hit it hard, hit it high, and snuck it out.
Got a mistake up in the zone. That is out over the plate, and was able to make her pay for it. Man, that was so high. Was that higher than the Maya Perez home run? Is that going to have more hang time? It just kept going. Wind is blowing a little bit, but man, that was so high.
I tell you what, that kid on the berm better be awake by now. He's had a lot of action his way since we showed him taking a nap a few innings ago. 10th home run for Taylor, 4th Tide player to hit 10 this year. Vandegrift, Wells, Papillo, and Taylor. 3 of the Tide's top 4 home run hitters have gone deep. First home run in 10 games for the freshman. And now a little tapper from Hawkins, back to Sailor Timmerman.
Yeah, you have to look at these teams and think about how they're two true national championship contenders. So interested to see who's coming to their regional, who they're paired with in super regionals, and if we're going to see both of these teams, or one of these teams, or none of these teams at the Women's College World Series. But when you look at what they can provide offensively, defensively, and of course in the circle, I mean, you have to believe that both of these teams can win a national championship, and I truly believe the national championship is up for grabs this year.
One away for Kristen White. Well, we're not bracketologists, but we do have friends who are. And Alabama's resume is pretty ironclad. Not conference strength of schedule, 47. Good, not elite, but the RPI number 2, number 1 in the KPI, another metric used. Strength of schedule, 23. There's a base hit for Kristen White, her first of the game. And you look 5-4 against the RPI top 10, 10-4 against the top 25. 26-5 against the top 50. And the win-loss record and the conference record are elite. They beat Arkansas twice, Texas twice, at Tennessee, at Florida State a couple of times. Swept Ole Miss on the road. You beat Arkansas here, who's the number 1 RPI. Feels like Alabama would lock up a top 3 seed at worst. I mean, obviously they'll be a host, but maybe even as high as the number 1 overall seed if they can win the SEC tournament. Jenna Young, right field, and a foul ball.
Yeah, we'll need to see what Oklahoma does in this tournament. They'll finally play tonight. I feel like we've been here forever, and we've still not seen Texas or Oklahoma play, but they'll be playing a little bit later on, so we'll see how they handle the Georgia Bulldogs tonight. Texas awaits Ole Miss. Just a few minutes.
A little tapper from Young to first. Bell's got her for the second out. And Oklahoma's RPI and non-conference strength of schedule are worse than Alabama's, 6-1-16 respectively, but 24-6 against the top 50. Also a ton of very good wins. 28-4 in the conference, obviously won the league. That Sooner fan will be happy to see his team finally. Line drive, Abby Dukeshire Actually, beg your pardon. That's Brooke Wells back in the game for Dukeshire, and Wells up the middle has her third RBI of the game. A 2-run home run an inning ago. A run-scoring single here. Alabama finally scores via something other than a home run, and it's 6-1 Crimson Tide.
That ball was hit so hard right back up the middle of the field and just right past Sailor Timmerman. Alabama has just been squaring pitches up in these last couple of innings. It was Vandegrift that set the tone with their solo home run back in the fourth, and Brooke Wells being aggressive early in the count with their home run, and that double providing multiple RBIs in this game.
Both first pitch swings for the RBIs from Wells. Garrett Griggs is going to come in and pinch run for her. And now it'll be Abby Dukeshire. So this keeps Wells in the game at the designated player spot, and Dukeshire is batting in the designated player spot for Alexis Papillo. What a response. 6 in a row for Alabama from the 4th inning on against Robin Heron and Sailor Timmerman.
Ball.
I mean, Vandegrift was by far the momentum changer in this game. Robin Heron was rolling in the 3rd inning and then well into the 4th inning, and then Vandegrift steps up with 2 outs, and first strike that she sees hits a home run. Totally changed the feel of this game, probably how comfortable Robin Heron felt in the circle, and then Taylor after that followed it up with a double, so back-to-back extra base hits in that 4th inning, and Vandegrift was the tone setter. You used to see her up in the leadoff spot last year as a freshman, moved her down to the 6th hole.
Dukeshire down to 3rd. That gets past McDowell. Dukeshire trying to leg out second base. She's in there with a head-first slide. The Alabama dugout is going crazy as Abby Dukeshire knocks one down the line past McDowell, and it's 7 straight for the Tide.
I don't know if this will be an error, but I think it should be an error. This is a play that Ella McDowell absolutely has to make. How did she not make that? Arkansas's defense has played so well this year, but let them down several times. That will be their 3rd error, as it will go down as an E5 on McDowell. 3rd error of the game for Arkansas.
Larissa Pruitt's cleats were decorated by a young softball star named Audrey Howard, guys, who was diagnosed with cancer. Audrey's mom said she has shown such great strength and bravery through her treatment, which is going well. She credits that to God and, of course, her training from softball.
Pruitt getting her first step out of the game here. Will ground out to second. Running down to first with those special cleats, her Alabama team with a 7-1 lead, and another long ball from Ambry Taylor.
The ball is flying out of this ballpark. We saw it from Auburn. Now we're seeing it from Alabama. 4 home runs in this game for Bama. Play.
This is the 78th SEC tournament game for Alabama. It's the first time they've hit 4 home runs in one of those games. And with a win today, they would tie LSU for the most ever wins in SEC tournament games. It would be number 47. They've tied Florida with 6 tournament titles. And assuming they can get out of the 7th, it'll be Alabama and Florida, the 2 winningest SEC tournament teams, who will face off in the semifinal. 2 versus 3 with a spot in the championship game on the line tomorrow.
Didn't play each other in the regular season.
Jocelyn Brisky with 100 pitches in the game. Meanwhile, a little bit of trouble early, walked a couple, threw a run-scoring wild pitch, but has she ever settled in? An unearned run against, 3 hits, 2 walks in 6 innings. And a ground ball foul by Carly Davison. And Alabama, if they can get out of this inning without much more damage, will certainly have the pitching advantage tomorrow. Florida used 4 pitchers, including Keegan Rothrock, starting the game and then re-entering. And Bama is on the verge of getting it done with one. That's a foul tip strikeout. And Brisky has her 6th K.
Goes to the outside corner. Looks like a curveball or a low rise out there and gets Davidson just in between, guessing whether she wants to swing or not.
Ball.
Ball one to Italia Rijo.
The other thing about that Vandegrift swing in the bottom of the 4th inning was that Arkansas kind of grabbed the momentum after they scored in that top half of the inning. And then Vandegrift steps up and breaks the strikeout streak that Heron had.
Skips off of the first baseman, Duksher. Hot shot, hard to handle for Rijo, and it'll be an error on Abby Duksher. Her 2nd of the year. Not an easy chance. Arkansas 0 for 9 in the game with runners on base.
Ball.
Haley Wyckoff back in the game, has a single. Off the left side. That's going to stay in play. Taylor's got it, and there are 2 away. So Jocelyn Brisky 1 out away from her 13th complete game of the year. And a strike poured into Kennedy Miller. 9 7-inning complete games this year. 12 of her 21 starts have been complete games. And in the 28 games in which she's pitched, Alabama is 26-2. Only losses against Texas and Tennessee, and she is on the verge of a 3rd straight 7-inning complete game against the nation's #1 RPI team. A pop-up by Miller will extend it. And it's just staggering. 26-2. In her 21 starts, 28 appearances. This junior from Phoenix, Arizona. About to throw her 110th pitch.
Ball.
And it's up and away.
It's just been so fun to watch her this year, watch her pitch in this game, see the confidence and belief that has just built throughout the summer, in the offseason, and throughout this current season we've been playing in.
How about?
And when the SEC announces its league winners tomorrow, a lot of people expect Jocelyn Brisky will be named the league pitcher of the year.
That is highly likely that that will happen.
It's 3-time SEC pitcher of the week this year. Top 25 finalist for USA Softball Player of the Year. I don't know how anybody's going to pick a Player of the Year nationally, by the way, this year. So many ridiculous seasons.
So many options.
Another 1-2 for Miller. Down she goes. Brisky goes the distance, and Alabama goes to the SEC tournament semis. Courtney Deifel's Razorbacks will be one of the top seeds at the NCAA tournament next week, but their SEC tournament run is done as Jocelyn Brisky sends Alabama into a date with Florida. The 2 most decorated programs in the history of the SEC tournament will meet on this field tomorrow with a chance to play for the championship on Saturday night.
And Alabama, their bats got hot midway through that game, and then Arkansas just disappointing with how they finished that game with several errors and mistakes. Just did not look sharp at the end at all.
Well, the first semifinal is set. The 2-seeded tie the 3rd-seeded Gators, former national championship programs. The last time each of the top 4 seeds won their tournament opener was 2012. We'll see if Oklahoma and Texas can hold up their end of the bargain tonight Texas and